Hello, this is Paul, and I am teaching at the First Church of the Brethren here in Harrisburg. We have a program where people come in and they take 12 different lessons on how to use their computers, and we're centering in on Windows XP. As we realize, there is a lot of machines out there being used today with Windows XP, although Microsoft has stopped supporting it. But there is a lot of interest in its operation. Everything you learn on this, you will be able to apply it to newer versions of Windows to include 7 and 8 at this time. Now, what we're going to talk about is, first of all, is my computer. This is lesson 4, and my computer follows what we covered concerning the mouse operations. In lesson 2, we talked about how to use the mouse, have stable control with your hand, and being able to hold it steady when you make clicks on it, especially when you make multiple clicks. In the third lesson, we talked about how to configure the mouse and be able to make it adaptable for people that has left and right hands, and we can have it set either way. Now we would like to talk to you about my computer. My computer is an essential tool for you to use and be able to have it show you what drives you have on your computer and be able to have access to them and see the files that are stored there. With Windows 7 and 8, there is an easier way to find the files, but still my computer will provide you with an overall view of what is installed. To start this off, we're going to look and see how we're going to activate my computer. And as we realize, we are able to access it all the time through the Start menu. And on the Start menu, I'm going to go over and click on Start, which is on the lower left corner. I click Start, and then I'm able to proceed and choose my computer. Once open, you'll have a display that is not quite like mine, and be aware that with every computer, this display will be different. And what I'd like you to do is to break down the components of this. Although my screen is much more elaborate, it does hold all of the possibilities that you'll be able to have on your computer as well. But keep in mind, you're only going to have the basics to start out with, but then be able to expand as we get into network drives, and I'll explain that later. The first drive I want to point out on here is drive A. It is identified as a 3.5 floppy. That means that it is a floppy disk that is still available in some stores where you get a disk for the purpose of recording personal data. Using such a disk will alleviate you having the necessity to create directories, but be able to put in the proper disk to be able to work on the particular files you have. In this presentation, you're going to be able to use this disk very much like a hard drive, in that it will overwrite anything that is not needed, just like your hard drive will do that as well. Now also, I want you to realize that your computer is able to have 2 floppy drives connected to your motherboard. However, what is most important is that the housing inside your computer is available to hold more than 1 floppy drive or not. Most of the computers that we have in our classroom will not hold a second drive, but it doesn't mean that the capabilities are not there. So In summary, the first two letters of A and B is for floppy drives, and that as a standard around the world, these two letters are reserved. As a personal PC, a computer that a typical person will have in the home, drive C becomes the most important drive on your computer. If it does not have a drive C, it is not able to boot up, because when you start to first turn on your computer, it will check to see that the drive C is there and how it's configured, that it's able to read it. So drive C is very important because it has an operating system, and that's tied into DOS, which is a disk operating system, but is very well integrated as a part of Windows, which is our graphical environment. Because of Windows, we are able to enjoy all the colors and graphics that are entailed, even to watch a picture or a movie, let alone enjoy the graphics of some things that go on with the backgrounds of many screens. Drive C will hold some more things than that. It will hold certain utilities that preserve the health of your computer, and that is with when you go online, you need a virus checker installed. But also, in the old days, we had to have a special set of fonts for each program. Well, with Windows, these fonts are shared with all the programs. So it's much more efficient in the usage of the disk space. Also, drive C, every software manufacturer depends on their programs to be installed on drive C. And if it was installed on a different drive in your PC at home, it will not operate properly. Also, we want to realize that as a start, you're going to hold your personal data, pictures, or any kind of files that are of personal nature. Programs develop files of personal nature. A camera will also be in the same classification, and all this is stored on drive C unless you have another alternative. To continue on this idea about drive C, our computers from the classroom only have one drive in it. However, it is very common that there might be another drive known as drive D. Now, very often this drive D will be very small and will house installation files for your computer. If you were to buy a new PC today, this would have all of the installation files contained to be able to restore your computer to a condition that is like it was taken out of the box for the first time as a new computer. At that point, you would have to reinstall all the programs that you've had. And if anything like that should happen, I hope you do have a proper backup of your personal files, that you don't lose anything. This is also another thing available here, that you can have more than one hard drive inside your computer. And if that is the case, if you have a partition as drive D and you have a second hard drive inside your computer, if there is a bay to mount it, then you're able to have a drive E. So take notice that as drives are added on, we will continue to add letters in succession with the alphabet. Going back to my scenario here, take notice that drive D now is listed as a CD-RW drive. You can relate this to what a CD would be. And also in this machine I do have capabilities with a DVD, which you will see later on. But this particular drive is for CDs only. And it does have capabilities of writing to a blank disk. Uh, when you have more than one hard drive, it is the CDs that follow in succession. So if you're up to a drive E with your hard drives, then you're able to realize that the next letter, or E or F or whatever the letter might be, would follow suit. You're able to have two different CD drives, DVD drives, or even today we have a Blu-ray drive known as a BD. And all of these have different capabilities. Some are able to be read as that specific as a movie or as a data disc, or even to watch pictures. But take notice that they do follow suit in this order. This is under the rules of Windows. We have no control over that may be what that can be. Windows will assign letters all the way up to the letter Z, and the letter Z will complete its capabilities. Later on, we're going to be talking about how network drives play into this scenario. To explain what is a network, we need to realize what is the simplest form, in that any two computers connected together will constitute a network. Many home networks will have more than one computer on it, but also might have a number of laptops through the use of what is called Wi-Fi, W-I-F-I. And this Wi-Fi it gives you capabilities to have your local area network connected as a wireless device, whereas your desktops will make use of a wire. When we get on a network, the symbol will change on the screen a little bit, and you'll see a conduit underneath on each of the drives. And it will start from the reverse action. Let me show you more about that. Now with this slide I am circling a Z drive, and it has the conduit underneath the emblem there. It designates that it is a network drive. By the way, there is no limits to how many drives you can have on your network. A recent study that we have done on one of the Wi-Fis that we have in a classroom, it will hold up to 200 computers on it. And a typical home network, that is more than sufficient. So on my scenario here with my computer at home, I have my one of my hard drives listed there, and it is with the conduit. And this drive is shared with all of the computers equally. It does not have to go through any other machine or computer. It is not required that everything has to be turned on. Only a direct connection is made, either through the wires or through the Wi-Fi. And as we add on drives, it will go backwards. So then we have a Y and an X, and we go backwards right on back. Now, take in mind, on this screen, I do not have that many hard drives connected, but I am able to make quick use of getting to the folders I want to get to by mapping a network and having a shortcut available for my ease. Following in order of things. While your local hard drives or local connections are inside the computer, they will go from A to Z, whereas the network would go from Z to A. And when you have things going in both directions, they meet in the center and then something has to go. Maybe you might have to do away with a mapped network to be able to connect another peripheral on there to be able to expand your capabilities. I direct my attention to the left column of your screen on my computer, and take notice the first item that should be there is View System Information. If you don't see this, right on top of the words, and there is a double arrow there, you can open this up and be able to see the selection I'm talking about of View System Information. It is good to realize what information is available for you to know exactly what kind of computer you're working with. For example, with my computer, I can see that Microsoft Windows XP Professional is being used and the version is 2002. And this represents that it was the first edition that was ever put out for that is when uh, Windows XP was released. Service Pack 3, which means that it's been upgraded to the current version that is available. Now, in the center, it tells me that it's registered to me with my registration number. And on the bottom portion of this window, where it says Computer, I have an AMD Athlon processor, which is the CPU. The CPU stands for the Central Processing Unit, and it's running at 1.10 gigahertz, and the higher this figure is, the faster it is running. However, there is an exception when we get into quad cores and dual cores, and where it multiplies the speed that much. So although it might be a slower processor than some, but it is actually going faster because it's using more than one channel. Next to it, I have 512 megabytes of RAM, or random access memory. This is memory where everything going through your computer is translated. It is stored on a hard drive. Everything is stored on a hard drive, but it runs in the memory. And your memory is what provides a window of information. So it'll page up and down and be able to present it on your monitor. This information is important for when you call technical support that they might want to ask for it. Now I'd like to present to you something very important for you to remember. When you install programs, they are not to be deleted. Instead, you have to go through a process of uninstalling a program. Now, mind you, this is different than the files that you create. You might create a letter, a resume, you might create a spreadsheet, you might even store some pictures or home movies on your computer. They are okay to be deleted, but anything that is installed must be undeleted. With this thought in mind, I'd like you to remember that when you install a program, it gains the capabilities of the resources of Windows. Fonts are shared with every program, and there is also different links that make it work. And all this needs to be uninstalled. Otherwise, if it's not done properly, then your computer is going to slow down because it's going to have missing links. So take in mind of what I'm about to show you. To uninstall a program, you'll take the second item from the System Task Tools there on the left, and Add or Remove Programs will take you into this screen. The more programs you have stored on your computer, the longer it will take for this window to populate. And that is because all of the programs that are installed on your computer are arranged in alphabetical order so that you can choose the one that you want to uninstall out of a organized list. To do this procedure, you'll click on the name and take notice there is a button there on the right hand side of that selection to remove this program. The computer will take care of the rest. You might even get a screen that asks, "Are you sure?" And you will answer that to the affirmative effect. Okay, so this covers the basics of what my computer is about, and be able to step around to a couple different things that are good there. You're able to go into any one of these drives and be able to see your files, and I'll be demonstrating that in the next section. More important, I'm going to be demonstrating what kind of maintenance you should be doing with your hard drive. Not many people do too much maintenance, and it is a good idea to understand what's going on with this, to be able to keep your drive working at a long period of time and get much use out of it. When the hard drive goes down and it is no longer readable, it is the wrong time to figure out what to do. So a little bit of maintenance will make it go a long ways. So I'll see you in the next section. This is the end of part 1. I invite you to continue on with part 2. Thank you. This is Paul Jones, and I welcome the opportunity to be able to show you these basic things.